Actually, maybe we'll start with you, Bob. And uh, I remember at one point a meeting I had at the Federal Reserve in the not too distant past, and I met someone whose title was product manager for cash. And I thought, that's pretty cool. There's a product manager for cash, and cash is a product of the central bank. And most people don't really think of it that way. Like, we've got products that we sell as companies, but central banks have a product. It's called cash. So what's the role of cash as a product in the United States? And then, how might that inform how the Fed thinks about digital cash?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I was surprised too when I came to the Fed from Circle, right? And we had a lot of kind of product questions that Circle's great PMs thought about. The Fed PMs think the same way. What do our customers need? What's their use case? How do we make this easier for them to use, more accessible? So you think about just currency generally, right? For a currency's goal is to be a unit of account, a medium of exchange, and a store of value. And cash being the original form of currency here in the US, that's what we want it to be first and foremost. And our cash office is really great at knowing their product and knowing their customers. So what is our product, right? So there's about 2 trillion of our product out there, right? In US of a $20 trillion money supply. Of that $2 trillion, we have about 1.4 trillion or so of that's hundreds. A decent amount of that, which is overseas. And then the remaining is smaller denominations. Our economists also and product officers also understand how that money moves, where it moves, and why it's moving where it is. And so when we think about trying to build a cash alternative, certainly not a cash replacement, but what would a prototype cash alternative look like? One of the key questions for us is, are we thinking more medium of exchange, or are we thinking more store of value? And that's one of the critical questions that we needed to think about and bring in the Digital Currency Initiative at MIT to help us think about. Because we think that you can weigh the technology to be more focused on store of value, say having a much more secure platform, or you can have it much more focused on a medium of exchange, which may require higher throughput and faster settlement. And as you know, Jeremy, those are really important technical trade-offs. Yeah. And so when we think about what's the potential goal of a prototype GP-CBDC, is are we looking for people to have something to store, and is security the ultimate concern, or do we need it to be fast, right? So you can get a cup of coffee very quickly. And that's an important trade-off, and why working with folks at MIT's DCI is so important to get the best answers in front of policymakers.
It's great perspective. I mean, this is obviously affects the broader cryptocurrency industry as people think about these trade-offs between security, scalability, and access. And access might be thought of as decentralization, or sort of kind of who can participate. And those all play off each other, obviously. And it's cool to hear people at the Fed thinking about that. So that's awesome.